We're a solution-driven beauty brand. Our products are designed to empower people to feel confident in their natural beauty. Possible side effects of using lash serums. I'm also someone with very sensitive skin, so I'm always hyper cautious initially about using any products, especially around my eyes. For us and the size and scale we're at, having a 100k live was huge.
This is Catch-Ups in My Kitchen, the catch-up you need every week in order to look, feel and be the best version of yourself. Join me in my kitchen every week as I speak to a new guest about all things food, health and wellness. Whether it's a specialist in their field, an inspiring story, or just a big girly catch-up full of all the recommendations, tips and advice. In my kitchen, we talk about it all. Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Catch-Ups in My Kitchen with me, Georgia Simmons, host of the podcast. In my kitchen this week, I am very excited to be joined by Daisy Kelly, who is the founder of Glow For It, the brand that you may know from TikTok as it has gone completely viral. Their lash serum was one of the best-selling Black Friday products last year. You can now find Glow For It in Boots, and Daisy has completely transformed the beauty scene with her amazing brand Glow For It. In this episode, we go into her journey, we talk about the products, we talk about being a founder, we talk about trying to find the impossible balance. We go through it all, and oh my God, this episode was amazing. I absolutely loved it. Could have spoken to Daisy all day, so I know you guys are going to absolutely love this one. So without further ado, let's go and join Daisy in the kitchen. Daisy, welcome to my kitchen. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.
Gorgeous kitchen.
Thank you.
Lots of design inspo ideas being in here.
Oh, thank you. Do you mind giving a very quick elevator pitch for those who don't know who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I'm Daisy. I'm the founder of Glow For It. We're a solution-driven beauty brand. Our products are designed to empower people to feel confident in their natural beauty. We're best known for our lash growth serum, which is prostaglandin analog free, made and formulated in the UK, and utilizes lots of natural ingredients to give you incredible growth benefits without side effects. And our products have now helped hundreds of thousands of people to feel more confident naturally.
I love it. Great mission, and also your products are great. I've tried them, I use them, got the mascara on as we speak.
I know, lashes looking good.
Thank you. Honestly, I have honestly been on a little lash journey myself. I naturally have very thin, short lashes, so I'm all for a good mascara and a good lash serum. So when I found your products, I was like, love this.
Yeah.
So we'll go into all of that in more detail, but we have a quick fire round to kick things off.
Okay.
About all things food.
Nice.
So, what is your favourite restaurant in London?
My favourite restaurant in London. I'm taking this question very seriously. I'm a big sushi girl, but I went to Gymkhana for the first time for my birthday, and oh my God, I've not stopped thinking about it.
Really? See, I've heard this a lot now. I need to go.
It was sensational. Even the cocktails to start with, it was the whole thing was an experience. It's a little bit of a special occasion place to go, but that's one restaurant that I've not stopped thinking about since going. So I'd probably say there.
Yeah, good one. Good one. Okay. What is one wellness brand or product that you can't live without?
I do have an answer to that. I am a big fan of GG supplements. They're an Irish nutrition supplement brand developed by two female nutritionists, and it predominantly the whole thing is designed to focus on the female body and our hormone balance. So it's like a powder you put in your water every single day, but it's the first one I've had that I've genuinely noticed a change in my mood and improvement in my skin. And I think that is because it's developed by Lisa and Jenny over in Ireland, but for women, and they noticed basically, this is meant to be quick fire, so sorry.
Oh, I love a long quick fire, do not worry.
They noticed basically the majority of these kind of supplements weren't actually being developed by women for women. They were looking at the concerns they were getting from their female clients, and then they've developed this amazing brand. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Love that recommendation. I'll check them out actually.
Yeah,
I feel like I've recognise the name,
Yeah.
but I can't picture it, so I'll have a little look.
I'll show you after. I need to have mine in the office later, but they they're big in Ireland and like trying to grow over here in the market. I first found them when I was out in Ireland doing like bits for Glow for It because we're growing over there. But yeah, anyway.
Amazing. Love that. Okay, what is your hangover meal?
Hangover meal. Oh, I'm a Thai girl. We've got Poppy's Thai out in Hammersmith.
Nice.
And yeah, can't go wrong with
Is it a curry or a pad thai?
Pad Thai, little tofu green curry.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Okay, favourite coffee shop?
Coffee shop. I'm a matcha girly,
I
can't bear to say Blank Street. That just sounds so terrible, doesn't it?
If it is, it is. That's okay.
Do you know what? As a treat, personally, I like my own matcha the best. I actually don't mean to toot my own horn, but I've got the taste down to a T, not too sweet. But if I'm going to treat myself at the weekend to a matcha, it'll be a little Blank Street.
Love
it just
that.
feels like a nice treat.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, which food for you is a complete no-no?
What is a no-no? You got me thinking about these. I kind of eat everything, but I don't eat meat. So
Fine.
meat is a no-no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your favourite dish to cook at home?
Oh, I do like a halloumi salad with, I like quite Mediterranean style food, nice and fresh. So I make a halloumi salad with lots of veggies. But my top tip for the salad, I chop up mango into the cucumber, tomato, red onion, nice balsamic glaze, chopped halloumi going in there, bit of grains and pulses.
Lovely.
And then maybe tzatziki or hummus on the side.
Oh, delicious. I'm with you.
I actually had that on Monday. It was divine.
Yeah, so nice. I love a fresh kind of like salad bowl. I'm with you. Okay, I want to start at the beginning. How
I'm
did
like well
it
on those
start?
questions. I'm thinking about all the food I can eat.
Food, I know. Like, yum. Okay, let's start right at the beginning.
Yeah.
You made 100k a day from your parents' kitchen. Let's start there. I mean, wow, that is amazing. How did it start? Where was like the pain point that you were like, I'm going to fix this and I'm going to start it small and just fix the problem to start with? How did it all begin?
Yeah, I think it's a really good point because I think a lot of people often ask me now, like, where do I get started? How did you find the initial idea? And for me, it very much was that I had a problem and needed a solution and couldn't find it available on the market. So to take you back, I actually did a degree in musical theatre, went to drama school, and actually went to a performing arts college essentially, but I went to Tring Park and then on to GSA, and very much was in this world of theatre and performing, which I went down because I had a passion for it initially. I loved to perform. I was very confident. And throughout that journey of performing and training, my confidence just went down and down and down. Obviously, it's a very like comparison-based industry, focusing on your body. It just kind of manifested this real like anxious energy in me, and I'd never really had that before. At school I was always so confident. It's not something I'd ever really struggled with. I was never the smartest in the room, but that wasn't a problem. I never really compared myself to other people, but that industry really symbolized that to me. So one of my coping mechanisms in that anxious time that developed was picking out my eyelashes, along with like a few other things, but the biggest one that I noticed the physical impact of was I would pick out my natural lashes. I would make wishes with them. If I had an audition, I'd have to pick out my lashes before. I also developed this weird thing with the number 13. I'd had to touch wood 13 times with each finger and kiss the finger. It was very like undiagnosed OCD, weird little things that I started doing. Had to touch wood every night, and then I had to pull out 13 lashes because the thing with the 13. So anyway,
big number.
I know, but I guess just to get a picture of like the space I was in when starting the business. So the biggest thing I noticed, especially being in this like performing industry, was that my natural lashes were taking a real dip from all of this picking, and that led me to wearing eyelash extensions, using strip lashes constantly. I genuinely wouldn't leave the house without putting on individual lashes. Then COVID hit. So I'm in third year at university. We all get sent home, have to finish the degree at home. But the biggest thing for me is I couldn't go and see my lash tech anymore. And what was the point really of wearing makeup in lockdown? Like, everyone was at home. There was this real surge in skincare as a trend. And everyone was investing in their natural beauty rather than masking it with excessive makeup. And for me, like, big strip lashes constantly. So I decided at that point to try and grow back my natural lashes. And that's when I really was opened up to this world of lash serums. It's not really something I'd considered throughout my whole kind of teens and early 20s. And that's when I realised, did some deeper research and found that a lot of the lash serums on the market contain ingredients that maybe cause nasty side effects around your eyes. Lots of them cause pigmentation, even cases over in the US of orbital fat loss and things like that. So I was very aware, literally from the get-go, of how do I grow my lashes back, found a lash serum, are lash serums safe? And then you're kind of fed with all of these articles about the possible side effects of using lash serums. I'm also someone with very sensitive skin, so I'm always hyper cautious initially about like using any products, especially around my eyes. That's when I found about prostaglandin analogues, which is the ingredient included in a lot of the lash serums available. Sorry, I can't do a short answer for anything. This is kind of a little bit of a long story. So
I like detail.
The rest will be a bit more succinct.
I love the detail.
I was aware of these prostaglandin analogues because they were developed for the treatment of glaucoma, and my grandpa has glaucoma. So he uses eye drops that contain prostaglandins. And the result of that was that his eyelashes are super duper long, to the point that like my grandma was actually having to chop them down because they were getting so outrageous because he has to apply these eye drops multiple times a day. But it was very interesting to me that that ingredient was also then being used commercially in lash serums on the market to give people that benefit of longer lashes. I then had a look at using the castor oils, etc. And although they provide like lots of nourishment and conditioning to the lashes, they don't actually have those proven growth benefits at stimulating like new growth down at the root. So essentially all of that kind of combined to me, and probably for the first time ever because of lockdown and COVID, I thought, oh, what if I was to make a product that could still give those benefits naturally but didn't contain those ingredients? Is that even possible? And yeah, ultimately that was the first kind of moment of, is there something here?
This episode is sponsored by Callow. Now, I have gymmed 6 days a week for as long as I can remember, and I've always eaten healthily. But recently I felt really stagnant and wasn't really feeling my best. And that is because just eating healthy isn't enough. You've got to make sure everything is balanced by an expert. How much protein are you having? How many carbs are you eating? Are you having enough variety? And is all of this going to achieve your desired health and fitness goal? Now, obviously, you can spend the time working this out, but I don't have time for that. And to be honest, you probably don't either. And that is why I have loved using Callow, because I can put in my desired goal and Callow's experts can fine-tune my diet in order to reach that goal. I now feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. I can continue to gym 6 days a week and eat really healthy, delicious and balanced diet, but I know that I am now achieving my goals. If this sounds like something that you want to do, if you're also feeling a bit stagnant and also feeling like you're not quite getting there with your both health and fitness, then this is your sign to give Callow a try today. They have kindly given us a 25% off code with CatchUps25. So you can now get 25% off your first order. This is your sign to give Callow a try today. This one simple thing has completely changed my life, and that is mouth taping. I have never been one to prioritize sleep, but in January I started mouth taping and my sleep and my productivity skyrocketed. The deep restorative sleep you get from mouth taping is completely insane. Nasal breathing is the way we should be breathing at night, and mouth taping really, really promotes this. I wanted to bring it to more people, so I started Healthy Habits to bring you a luxurious and aesthetic mouth tape that you can use every day and feel proud to use. If you're intrigued on the benefits or want to give mouth taping a go, this is your sign to do so. Click the link in the show notes and use the code CATCHUPS20 to try mouth tape today. I promise you, you will never sleep better, and just thank me later. Now let's get back to the episode. Amazing. I love it. I mean, it's so scary though about kind of like the other lash serums that are on the market, because, you know, I see some girls and I'm like, oh my God, your lashes look amazing. What are you using? And they say, beep, and then insert brand. And I'm like, oh wow. And I'm thinking, oh, like I used one brand I will mention because they're definitely not listening, Revitalash, example. And I remember getting the reddest under eye that I looked like I was really ill. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, it's Revitalash. I'm like, okay, that's a no.
Yeah.
And there are other brands out there that do have the same. And you're like, gosh, like you say, you don't know. Our eyes are sensitive and we don't know what we're putting on our eyes. And it can be really scary to see these side effects. And like, if you start Googling them, it's awful what you can see.
That's the thing. And some people can use them with absolutely no problems at all. They just get the benefit of longer lashes. But I am very fair skinned. My mum's got red hair. Like, we are very sensitive skin girlies. And I just know I would, of all people, end up with a giant like red line and ring around my eyes 100%, unless I'm being really careful of what products I'm using. And quickly found that there was lots of people in that same kind of position, weren't necessarily aware of, were maybe noticing the side effects, but didn't really know that they were associated with the products that they were using. So in the early days, it was a lot of like education around that and just sharing my story and my journey, with the biggest thing obviously being the results that the product has been able to give me. And that transformation is what's really got people invested in doing the same for themselves.
Yeah, completely. So you found the solution, or you had the idea to create a solution. How do you then go about doing that? Because again, you know, eyes are sensitive. You can't start just putting anything together and putting it on your eyes and selling that to people.
Yeah.
So many tests need to go in to create a product like this. So how do you then begin to find the solution? What's your process?
Yeah, it's so true. And I think a lot of people think I was like mixing this potion in my mum's kitchen. That definitely wasn't the case, especially for anything you use around your eyes. So I just started off by reaching out to a host of manufacturers. I was, as I say, just out of university. I'm so not experienced in this world. I must have reached out to 30 and maybe heard back from 3. So also, if you're in those early stages, and especially if you're a younger founder with an idea, just be prepared that it's quite a rarity for someone to take you seriously at that stage. So I reached out to suppliers in the UK, in Asia, in Italy, and basically started developing from the get-go with our UK supplier. But to put it into perspective, manufacturing a product here in the UK will traditionally take a lot longer. So our Glow For It formula, as it is now, took about 2 years to bring to market. So in that time, I was working with a supplier in Asia, again, still building out our bespoke formula, but basically the cash flow that I was raising from our previous formula was basically investing into this UK manufacturing process. So that's kind of how we did it. Listen, if I had all the funds behind me and the cash flow available and the time, I would have gone straight into UK manufacturing, but it is a lot more expensive. We've got higher MOQs, and actually having that stepping stone allowed me to test the market, build a community, build an audience, and then they kind of grew with me, and I felt so much more confident and comfortable with that UK production process. And yeah, so by the time I was able to launch that product 2 years down the line, we had like an engaged community who were ready to go on that like next stage of their growth journey, basically.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, I'm the same with healthy habits. I think everyone says like MVP, get that minimum viable product out there, test it. And like, that's only possible with certain suppliers, and the perfect product isn't necessarily your first product. You kind of just got to
Exactly.
trial it and get it out there.
I know, and I almost think it's such a taboo, but I needed to do that because easily that product could have not had a market. So I needed to test that in a way that was financially viable for me. Also, interestingly, like, we were initially called Glow For It Girl, because the whole premise of the brand is to empower women to feel confident in their natural beauty. But actually, when we went on this like next stage of our journey, we rebranded from Glow For It Girl to Glow For It to be more kind of encompassing of the community and the individuals that I knew our products could help and support. It wasn't just women, but that was very much, I guess, at the core, and a slight naivety in my sense of like, oh, people who will use this product will be just like me and they'll be my age and my demographic. But actually, through building that, I learned so much about our potential audience as well, so I could make sure that our products were serving not just me. Like, we have menopausal customers, we have customers who have gone through postpartum hair loss. Megan, one of our most amazing customer transformations, went through breast cancer and chemotherapy, lost all her lashes, brows and hair, and then has used our products to bring back her confidence. So that core kind of message and value still sustains, but it's very much serving who we want the Glow For It customer to be in the future.
Yeah, completely. It's so interesting. I think when you put a product out there, you don't know how it's going to be received. And I had exactly the same with Healthy Habits. I kind of have this product and I was like, right, I think the market are going to be like girls like me who are looking for that next step in their routine to have the best night's sleep of their life, etc., etc. It's huge in America. They're going to be seeing that. They're going to be jumping on it. No, like Meta tells me my market is women from the age of 40 to 60 who, similar to, like you say, are going through the menopause, might be struggling with sleep, not going to feel embarrassed to put mouth tape on next to their husband who they've been married to for 20 years. So I'm like, oh my God, so interesting. Like, you know, you have this idea of how you want your brand to look, your product to look, the market, etc. But you don't know until you get there and actually put it out there. It is a part of the journey.
Yeah. And probably for you as well, if you had have invested in a higher order quantity, for example, and really like niched your branding and your packaging to what you thought your audience would be, you could potentially be sat on a lot of surplus stock. So actually just getting a product out there, being able to test, I think it is the most powerful thing to be able to do in those early days. And, you know, I spent a lot of time being like, I wish like that was never part of my journey, but actually it is. And I never would have, you know, we've got MOQs of 10,000 units here in the UK. When I started the business, I had £500 in my bank account. That just wouldn't have been an option. And I needed to build up something that I could get these big players to take me seriously with, because at the time I was 21, just out of drama school with no money to show for it. So it's definitely all part of a bigger picture.
Completely. 21 though, wow. So let's touch on your personal platform and like being the face of the brand. So again, I know this is a decision someone has to make early on. And I remember I had a business before what I'm doing now. And I remember someone saying to me, and someone might have said it to you as well, the first decision you have to make is, are you going to be the face of the brand or not? And that's a decision you have to make. And once you make that, that's that.
Yeah.
And I was very much like, face of brand, not a problem. But I, you know, when I started the podcast, when I started the business, like I, maybe similar to you, not sure, had no platform, had no followers, had about 1,000 friends, family, like that's it. And when it comes to building a brand, I think when these people who have platforms, influencers, or they've come from different industries, they've got a platform already to sell, they've got a community ready to sell to. So let's touch on, from your perspective, starting from scratch and kind of like building up this platform and sharing your journey. And was it a decision you actively made, I'm going to be the face of the brand? Or was it kind of similar to me, you're the only one in this, so you haven't really got a choice? How was that process in becoming the face of Glow For It?
Yeah, I would love to say I sit down and everything was a really calculated, strategic decision. It was not that at all. It was, what can I do with the resources I have available at this time? So I think there's a lot of synergy with startups and lack of resource and cash available to invest in things like that. I had a background in performing. I had a tripod because I was already filming self-tapes for my agent, and I knew I was comfortable in front of the camera. That is like the lowest resource necessary to be able to hopefully build brand awareness. So for me, it was kind of not even a question or a conversation I had with myself. It was just a no-brainer that, yeah, obviously I'll be the one filming the content. But I do remember people around me saying like, are you sure you want to put yourself out there in this light? You know, you can face a lot of backlash and criticism when you're putting yourself as the face of it. But yeah, it just wasn't really a conversation that I even really entertained. Maybe I would have now. Maybe if I started something again, would I put myself as out there? I just think because the product was developed from my personal story, having that person being able to narrate that to the community directly is a really powerful, let's be honest, marketing tool. You know, I didn't see it at the time. For me, it was just, I'm going to appear, I'm going to tell my story, and hopefully people resonate with it. But it's actually a really powerful tool, especially if your product is directly serving you and you can resonate with people who may be going through similar experiences or want to have those same results and benefits as you. So yeah, not a huge strategic decision, but I think it's a very powerful one if you've got it in your repertoire.
Completely. I think people buy from people, don't they? So if you can do that, amazing. But I mean, I'm sure you're the same. Sometimes it's just like, oh my God, like constantly having to kind of show up and be there. And like now you've got a team, and now you are that person, you are that face of the brand, and it's like, oh wow, like it is an active decision, and it's a lot, but there's so many perks and pros to it as well.
There is, and I do think probably you are right in making sure in those early stages that it is a little bit more of a strategic plan decision that you make. I would have still gone down that same path. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but now I'm definitely feeling the burden of it, in the sense that if I'm on a live, the revenue's higher, the performance is better. So I've got pressure around me to appear on more lives. If I'm in the content, usually the engagement's higher. So that builds kind of a sense of responsibility for you. And especially as the business grows and your role and responsibilities develop further outside of maybe that customer facing kind of content pool, you do still have this responsibility to come back to that, because that's where your community are used to seeing you show up. So yeah, that's where I'm feeling a little bit of a discrepancy at the moment. People want me to be steering the ship 3-5 years ahead, but then also I need to appear in the daily lives and also getting content for TikTok, because that's where we're going to see the day-to-day impact.
Completely.
So there's a little bit of a balance of that.
Completely. Okay, you mentioned lives. Let's touch on TikTok. So I feel like you guys have had huge success on TikTok. Where did your journey start on TikTok? Was it on organic growth? And how have you found growing on TikTok Shop?
Yeah, I would say it was a very organic process, to be honest. I started the business in lockdown, so that was about the time of this surgence of TikTok being the one platform that everyone was watching 5, 6, 7 hours a day. We didn't really have much else to do. So it was a very kind of easy, simple choice for me to decide to appear on that platform, because that's where I knew my friends were engaging. That's where I knew I was spending the most of my time. So I started by just posting generic kind of content, you know, my results, my journey, sharing like the process of developing the product. And quickly people started to say like, oh, if you're seeing results like that, I would be really invested in kind of going on the same journey. Is it available to purchase? I then started doing lives, and I believe this is still pre-TikTok Shop, maybe it's after, but started doing lives. And again, that was just like me from my mum's kitchen, often packaging orders that had come through or Shopify, talking to customers if they had concerns or they were wondering how the serum worked or what were the key ingredients. I could directly address them within this kind of forum where people felt like I was directly communicating with them. So then when TikTok Shop launched on the platform, we were invited as like an early adopter. it was just a no-brainer because I was already posting all of this content, and pre that we actually had quite a few videos go viral, and I could see the correlation with our Shopify orders. We'd have a viral video on TikTok, Shopify would boom. So I knew there was the halo effect going into our own organic sales. So no-brainer if I was having that virality anyway, but it could be contained within the platform that people were already engaged in. I was like, perfect, this is brilliant. So yeah, I think we very much reap the rewards of being early adopters to the platform. I think I'd be naive in saying it's as easy to do that now if you enter the platform. It isn't, because it's so much more saturated. But yeah, we really just kind of rode the wave of that early process of TikTok. And at the time, they were giving so much resource to sellers. I would literally send a link of my video into the TikTok shop kind of channel with my account managers, and they'd be like, yeah, we'll give that a boosting, and they just boost it out to new audiences. Obviously all of that you have to pay for now, but at the time they just wanted to be serving like the algorithm with the content to see if it was, I guess, a viable e-commerce platform.
Yeah, amazing. Which it definitely is.
Definitely is.
Oh my God. I mean, I've been told now, out of the top wellness retailers, it goes Boots, TikTok Shop, Superdrug.
Really?
That's what people are saying. And I'm like, I get it. I mean, I buy from TikTok Shop. I really do. I wouldn't say I'm always buying from TikTok Shop.
Neither, by the way. I couldn't tell you the last time I bought from TikTok Shop.
No, I'm not. You know those people who are like, oh my God, things arrive at my door and I forgot I've even bought them.
Yeah.
I'm not that person, but I do buy on TikTok Shop, and I think it is so easy. Like the barriers to purchase are so minimal that you can literally be like, oh, I see that. Oh, love the video. Click, click, click. Purchased. And you're like,
do you know
wow.
who it is? It's the mums.
Yes.
Which is so interesting. Like I'll go on a panel and people will start telling me how much TikTok Shop is just for, you know, sales incentivized consumers who are 18 years old. Our data literally shows us the opposite. Our AOVs on a live are £40 to £60. Our individual lash serum SKU is £30. So the fact that our AOV is higher than our hero SKU shows you that people aren't just buying that single SKU discount product. And our average age demographic is 35 to 50. Wow. So again, loads of people telling me that don't go, or telling brands and businesses don't go on TikTok Shop because you're just going to be serving a Gen Z audience who aren't kind of willing or ready to invest in higher value products. I don't believe it could be further from the truth.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting. Now, the lives are fascinating. So you said you started out just doing lives at home. Honestly, I give you so much credit for this because I've done one live on healthy habits and I literally wanted to die. I hated every second of it. I wanted to last for an hour. I lasted half an hour. I feel like I had robots coming in and out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think what I need to do is probably just leave the phone there and relax into it and to stay there for a longer period of time. But I was just talking at the camera for half an hour. And honestly, I can talk. Like, I talk a lot. Like, talking is not the problem. But I was like, oh, I don't know. It was such a bizarre experience. But, you know, I've heard you say before about you've got to be on there for like 3 hours or maybe more to kind of get a reward from that. I mean, the TikTok live world, it is insane.
It is.
So touch on like your first lives and then kind of fast forward to the lives that you're kind of doing today.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a really untapped opportunity. And often when I speak about them, I think people are like, oh my gosh, no way I couldn't go live. And definitely, I used to get the shakes before a live. I used to be so nervous. Whereas now it's literally like I'm propping up the phone to FaceTime a friend. It's like all of these things, you know, practice becomes habit, becomes normality. But anyway, starting off with those early days of lives, as I say, I think it was easier because I had the distraction of packaging up the orders. So as they came in, that was a very nice touch point because people would be like, oh, Daisy, can you package up my order next? And I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll pop in an extra, whatever for you. And that helped to build a nice like connection with the community and getting them to support the lives through placing orders. But I even remember we did a Halloween live and we had a lucky dip, and this was at my mum's house in her kitchen, and my TikTok manager, India at the time, who's a queen, came to my mum's, and we were just picking out lucky dips of products. The next person to order will get this lip balm put in their order. And I remember coming away from that, and I think in the 2 hours we did about £1,000, and I thought, oh gosh, okay. Like, at the time I still had a full-time job, and I remember thinking, that's probably what I made in the week. And we've just done that in a 2-hour live in terms of like earnings from my full-time job. And I just thought, I think there's actually something quite powerful in this. And we're not even really optimizing at this point. We're just seeing this as an opportunity to communicate with the customer. We're not really driving incentives for people to purchase right now, which is obviously much more where we're at now in the strategy. But even then, we had a lack of consistency. So we would maybe go live once a week, but the time we would go live would change every week. The person on the live would change each time. The location would change. And the big thing with the TikTok lives is just consistency. You have to train the algorithm to know when you're going live, what sort of stats and revenue you're going to see, who those purchases are, so that they know who to feed that content to. So it does take, if you're going to go on your first live and think you're going to make £1,000 in the hour, you might, but I think it's unlikely, because the algorithm at this point knows nothing about you, your product, or who you're trying to serve. Because we actually find, sitting on our lives, we have about 40 to 50% new customers, even sometimes up to 60% new customers sitting in our lives. So these are new people introduced to the brand. So if they've not been served your content before, the algorithm really needs to learn that it's essentially safe to serve this content to new users, because they're going to still be engaged by it. So I would even say, to about a year and a half ago, we were still very kind of just flexible with the lives. I'd pop in and out. We had no structure and no real strategy when it came to the lives. And I was starting to think, are these even really that viable? Yes, we probably make a couple of £100 extra each hour on top of what we're paying a presenter in the studio. But really, could that resource be put elsewhere into the business? I spoke to TikTok and they were like, give it everything for a month. Go live every single day for a month and then reevaluate. If you're still in the same kind of point, then maybe it's just not where your community's engaging. And by the end of that month, the dial had completely shifted. We'd shown the algorithm that we were consistent, that people were engaged, people were staying in the room. Our entry room rate was going up. Our retention rate of people staying in the room was increasing. And you can really then use those key learnings to inform what you get people to do on the live. It is really actually a science, which I'm happy to go into, but there are lots of strategies that you can put into place to make sure that your live is basically as impactful but impressionable on the platform as possible. And then it's going to get served to more people. So fast forwarding to today, we've got our own live studio. We've got now a team of 16 live presenters. It almost goes out as it would a rota if you had a physical store. So we send the rota out, people put in their availability. We go live every day between 9 and 12 hours a day. Our average monthly daily live number of hours is between 9 and 10 hours daily over the entire month.
Insane.
But obviously that would be completely unsustainable at the beginning. At the start, it was just me and a camera. So it's taken a long time to build up to that. And we only do that now because we see the value of it and we see the return from investing into it. But then we still have those kind of, they call them KLSs, but the key live streams, where I'll appear and we'll do those 12 hours. Normally they're themed. And that's where we see those, you know, crazy results of 100K days and stuff. Because if you get the science right of it, you can really drive people to purchase.
Amazing. Am I right in saying you broke a record on TikTok Live? Am I right in saying
I'm not sure about that, because I know for a fact what Made by Mitchell and P. Louise are doing on a live, so we're worlds away from them. I know P. Louise did just a 3 million in a 12-hour live, and I know Mitchell's done 1.5, maybe even 2. I'm not 100. I know he's hit the £1 million mark in a 12-hour live.
It's insane.
It is absolutely insane. I mean, for us and the size and scale we're at, having a 100K live was huge. But yeah, it just shows the potential of that platform. The P. Louise live was crazy.
It's so exciting and it's an amazing platform. And from my side, I'm just like, it's hard to, when you've started a brand and you wanted to look a certain way, to then be doing it, because obviously you've got these gorgeous live studios and it looks a certain, like, very professional and very polished. And then to take that and put that in me on my desk chatting about my brand. But obviously there's so much authenticity and, like, people love to invest in, like, brands at the beginning. So there's pros and cons, but from my side, I love things to be, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm happy to throw things out there, but you kind of want it to be a certain way. And you're like, ooh, like, is me on my desk looking, is that going to be communicating the right image to the customer? But
I think it's just how you choose to appear on different platforms. Because you can still have, if you looked at our Instagram content, it's still very different to the content we post on TikTok. We'd never post the things we post on TikTok that go viral on Instagram because it would have no impact. It wouldn't even hit the algorithm. So you can still choose to appear as that sleek, polished version on a different platform where that resonates. But I think the whole beauty of TikTok and TikTok Shop in particular is people want to see that behind the scenes, inside kind of scoop to the brand. They want to learn about you. They want to connect with you because that's the beauty of what that platform brings. Otherwise, everyone would just still be shopping on Amazon because there's no association with the brand behind the product. So I think even in the sense that is doing so well as a platform and outperforming retailers with years and years of trading experience shows that people are invested in people. So true.
I mean, I share on TikTok these, like, quite unattractive, to be honest, videos of me in every morning taking my mouth tape off. And it's, like, really not what I'd put on Instagram. And someone was like, oh, like, they do really well on TikTok, you should put them on Instagram. And I'm like, no way. Like, that is not the vibe that I want to give.
Product pack shot.
Like, and not, Raw also does really well on Instagram, and we are now going for that very unfiltered and authentic type of style content. But on TikTok, like, you can be more raw and unattractive. And
some of the things, honestly, my TikTok manager posts, I think I look dreadful, but I know it will do well, so I'm just like, okay, I'll back it.
Fine. It's like the uglier or, like, the most awful angle or whatever people resonate with most. I'm like, oh god. But I then sometimes find that if I then tag the product in that, no, they don't want to see it. But if it's just as is.
We're experimenting actually a lot more with not tagging the products in the content just to boost that organic engagement. And they say it doesn't impact it. I would say it probably does a little bit.
I say it does. So let's talk about some of the other products. Obviously, lashes has been, like, the main focus. But you've also gone into some other amazing products. You've got your balm. You've got other products. What's been the focus? Like, how have you kind of gone through different products, and where's your kind of focus going forward?
Quite a few learnings from that, actually. We've always been very community and customer focused when it comes to NPD, which I think is a balance. Like, there's lots of businesses that go with what they see of their product development pipeline going to be, and then we've very much fed our product development pipeline by what our community are asking for. Where we're appearing on these platforms so regularly, people are going to tell you in the comments every single day what they want to see from you next, what they don't like about your products. So it's very much been fed by that. We've had some wins, which have been, obviously, we launched the brow serum because people were using the lash serum on their eyebrows. So that was a natural progression of, okay, it's the same kind of key customer who wants to see those results in their brows. We actually had a real big lesson recently. So we launched our hair growth serum about 1.5 years ago. And we launched that because people were using the brow growth serum on their hairline and sending us results of, new growth coming through. And the big thing about the hair serums on the market, I love hair oils. I think there's absolutely a place for those sort of treatments. But the whole point of our serums is that you apply them every single day. So our hair serum is a water-based formula. I put it on this morning, you'd have no idea. It dries down non-greasy, so that you can see those sustained results by daily application, but you're not sacrificing on, the finish of your hairstyle. Anyway, I thought this was the bomb. I thought this was, oh my gosh, amazing. I can't see this being done before. Definitely not within the price point that we're offering the product for, and the results that we're seeing from customers. That product probably for about a year stuck around. Like, we were sitting on a lot of stock. As I say, we've got 10,000 MOQs. We're slowly selling them. A year in at May, finance and the ops team are saying, I think we need to pull the product. I just don't see it performing. It's not having impact. We hit June, one video goes viral, and we sold out of the hair serum now. We sold the stock that took a year to sell in the space of 2 months.
Wow.
So it does sometimes, that was a big lesson, because I did really believe in the product, and I was starting to question, am I taking this in the right direction? Is this what people actually want to see? But sometimes you've got the slow burners, and then you've got the instant successes. So just a sign to maybe just hold out for a little bit longer on certain products if you're not seeing, those 1 month sale targets being hit. Slow burners, keep it going, keep providing the content, importantly the education, and then something switched and people were like, this is the product we need. And I was like, I know, I was telling you that a year ago, but anyway, we'll embrace it now. So that's been an interesting one. We then launched our mascaras. So they're essentially infused with the lash serum key ingredients. And we developed it because one of our biggest pieces of feedback was that people were struggling to remember to apply their lash serum every single night. So we thought, how can we infuse a product that people use on a daily basis with those key ingredients still? So obviously that's where we've gone down the mascara route. Also because a lot of the mascaras on the market have impact in terms of volume instantly, but don't have those kind of rooted lash care ingredients. So that's where that product sits. And that was a very different story to the hair serum. We have a very engaged lash community. So we launched that product and instantly hitting targets, surpassing targets, because we knew that product directly solved our number one pain point. So it's interesting to kind of map them out basically. And there's key learnings from all of them.
Yeah, I mean, the mascara is genius. I mean, I am one where I would probably forget sometimes to do my lash serum.
Yeah.
Although I'm quite good at my routine, sometimes I'm like, oh, forget that one. Like it's fine. But mascara is, genius. It's like hacking two things together and it's like perfect. Habit stacking, we're all here for it. It's like you're putting your mascara on, and amazing. It also helps your lashes grow. But it is so fascinating what, your community will tell you. I think community is huge, and we're hearing that word so much now, but it really, really is so important. How do you guys at Glow For It how do you build your community? How did you build your community, and how do you kind of harness your community now?
I think it's showing up for your community in the areas and the platforms where they're most engaged. So as I mentioned, how we show up for our community on Instagram is very different to that of TikTok. The lives are obviously our key driver in terms of building that authentic community. But actually, even we're finding now, we were really treating our TikTok customers as a completely different customer to our Shopify customers. They're actually just feeding through to our own ecosystem, which is really interesting for us to learn, because we were really treating the content that we were serving as completely separate. But actually, it's almost like those initial touch points to the brand are then feeding through to more of a long-term matured customer base. Anyway, I've side noted there, but that's a very interesting learning for us, again, for people who are thinking like, I don't want to go on TikTok shop because it's a completely different customer. Likelihood is your customer is still engaging on that platform, so it's just making sure you can show up for that community at different touch points. We obviously now know it's not going to be 3 views of a brand before you're going to purchase. It's going to be something more like 17, 18. So how can you make sure at each touch point of someone's daily social engagement that you're appearing? But also in terms of community, we hold monthly community events, which have been an amazing addition. So we do those every single month. We've done them up in Manchester. It could be a coffee morning. We've done a walk around Battersea Park. We've done an open rooftop cinema evening.
Amazing.
And all of them have always sold out. And it's just an amazing opportunity and experience to just sit with your customers and learn so much. And we're also learning so much about who our customer is. You know, it's a constant process. So I think it's appearing for those customers in the way in which they need, whether that be through product, engagement, events.
Yeah.
And you learn so much from the process of just doing that rather than sitting back and letting your community kind of comment on an Instagram post.
Yeah, it's so nice. Also for you to look around and be like, wow.
Bring that into real life. Like we've hosted pop-ups. We did a pop-up at Boots Battersea. We actually did a pop-up, which is a whole nother experience. We did our own pop-up in London last Christmas. That was coming up to a year ago. And that was a huge learning curve of meeting those people in real life, often for the first time.
It is amazing when you do things in real life and like meeting customers and having that face-to-face interaction, and like it is really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Boots is a huge milestone for you guys. Let's quickly touch on that. I mean, that I feel like, and you may disagree, but I feel like that's been TikTok has definitely created that opportunity. And I think that just highlights how powerful TikTok is. And I know TikTok Shop wouldn't be right for every brand, depending on product, price point, etc. But I know some people say, oh no, I don't want to be on TikTok Shop. But I think, as we've touched already, but going back to it quickly, the power of TikTok Shop is so strong. And the fact that you guys are in Boots now is so exciting. So how has that journey been?
Yeah, I mean, you've hit the nail on the head there in that they approached us. They have an internal AI learning tool that's literally every single day going through the algorithm and spotting the new surging trending products and brands on the platform. And then they have a whole internal team at Boots for new trends. And then that is the team that reached out to us and said, listen, we're seeing that you're a very prominent trending product and brand on the platform. How do we feel about kind of turning that into an IRL opportunity, which for me has always been the ultimate goal. And someone like Boots, who has got kind of the most heritage and reputation when it comes to beauty retail, was an amazing alliance and relationship to build. So it was a real incredible process, you know, but very key learning that came through that channel and platform. I mean, over Black Friday last year, the lash serum was the third best-selling beauty product on the whole of TikTok Shop. But
amazing.
But I'm just from a brand of our size at the time. I had four full-time employees, and there's L'Oreal on the platform. There's huge brands, but still there's such a power and space for these smaller kind of disruptor brands, and that is how we got kind of signpost to the biggest retailer in the UK as a brand and an opportunity to watch. So yeah, I agree that maybe TikTok isn't for everyone, but there's definitely power in it.
Completely. I think, that is just so exciting. And has that been the first stockist for you guys to go for on shelf?
On shelf, we were with e-retailers and still are with some e-retailers as well.
Nice.
But yeah, our first kind of in-store location on shelf. So yeah, it was a real
amazing
moment.
And as a founder, was that your goal to like majoritively kind of focus on e-com and TikTok rather than going for kind of traditional stockists?
I think there's a balance. I'll speak to founders now who have really focused on the B2B model and have really grown their retail, but their D2C is really suffering because they've spent so much of their, resource and power going into that model. We've definitely naturally fallen into more of that D2C brand positioning, and now we're trying to broaden our reach into more B2B. So I think it's very difficult to get the balance from the start, especially when you are a solo entrepreneur or maybe you don't have experience with retailers. It's a really challenging and difficult world to navigate, and often if you don't have the contacts at the retailers, it's very difficult to get your product in front of people.
God, yeah. I mean, I've been talking to some people about retail and I'm just like, it's a whole different game. And also, you see a product on shelf now and say, oh, well done, you got in. And it's like, oh God, it is like what the retailers require, what you have to do, what
you have to fund.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one that they don't really let you know about.
Yeah, like you see all the shiny promos and all going on in the shop. That's not just them. Like, it's a whole ball game. And yeah, I mean, learning about that world now, I'm like, wow, you know, places like Instagram and TikTok, you're just like, harness that so much, because
you have the control of how you're showing up on those platforms. Like it's very hard for you to control how you're going to appear, even with an e-retailer, let alone a physical retailer where you've got huge brands taking up shelf space. You've got little to no control how you're going to appear in those stores. So I think for us, definitely it was easier to go down that D2C route, really build those authentic connections and community, and then allow that to feed into physical location eventually. It's definitely still a big priority for me to grow that. But it's crazy. I know, get me in front of anyone, I will make them want to bring that serum to their shelves. I can't get into the room with them.
No,
so hard.
Exactly. I 100% agree. 100%. It's like, I think there's about so many different things. I'm like, I know that if I speak to them, it'll be fine. But I can't even speak to them. And I'm like, why? In this world where people can go to the moon, why can't I speak to them? It's crazy. Now, I want to touch on you personally and being a founder and your balance and health and wellness. What does kind of wellness mean to you at the moment when you're kind of really, really driving Glow for it forward? It's kind of going from strength to strength to strength. How do you find that balance for yourself?
I think wellness is balance, isn't it, at the end of the day? And it's a really, really challenging thing to find. I know it's a challenging thing for anyone to find, but I think it's highlighted when you're a founder because the ability to switch off is impossible. Maybe I'm talking from my own experience, but
agree.
I could not tell you the last weekend I haven't worked, the last evening I haven't worked, the last time I've gone to bed and the last thought in my brain hasn't been the business. So in terms of balance, I think if you're striving for that constantly, you're always going to be disappointed, especially if you're a founder, because it's frankly impossible to get a work-life balance because work is your life. For me, the big things, non-negotiables that I put in place for myself is exercise. I'm no means an athlete, but I know if I don't run and if I don't do some sort of physical exercise each day, the brain is not going to be performing the same when I'm in the office. I'll be snappier, I'll be shorter, I'll be less creative. I just know as a rule for myself, I have to get that time in the morning, which is a real challenge when you're working later, when you've got events in the evening. Maybe you've got an early morning event and then you've got to get up even earlier. But that for me is a real non-negotiable. And also sleep. I know this is why I've got to get mouth taping because
I'll sort you out.
I know when I haven't had enough sleep, everything else starts to crumble.
Yeah, I'm with you on both of those things. And actually with sleep, it's funny because I'm one where if things are getting busy and that evening time is getting used up and that morning time is getting used up, and I'm not one to sacrifice exercise for sleep. Like exercise for me comes first because I'm similar where I won't be agitated, I won't be as focused, I struggle. And I think there's a lot to be said for that for me, I'm not a meditator, I'm really bad in silence. So exercise is my form of like meditation. So sleep is one thing I've never focused on. But with mouth tape, I'm like, I now know that no matter how many hours I get, whether it's 5 or 7, hopefully it's 7, but I know those hours in bed are going to be good hours rather than those hours where you're like, the brain won't switch off and you're tossing and turning and
that's
all
the
of
thing.
those
I've
things.
Never struggled to sleep because I'm so blooming exhausted by the time I get into bed. I'm like this, straight away. I'm so tired because the day is so jam-packed.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing on that is just in the wellness, I've gone through a real process of being really guilty about letting down friends and family and not being able to be as physically present in those sort of environments. And then I think it's also just to have the kindness to yourself, being like, actually, these are the years where I've got this incredible opportunity. I'll be more devastated if I don't capitalize on that opportunity now. And if that does mean I'm going to have to sacrifice time with family and going out with friends, I'm okay with that decision. I think it's taken a bit of time for me to feel like okay with that not being a selfish act, but the right choice for me right now in my life. And I think when I was living in that like guilty space, that's when I was really struggling to find the balance, because I was saying yes to too much, overstretching myself in areas that I actually didn't need to or want to be prioritizing, when actually I know right now the priority for me is the business, and just feeling okay with that decision.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you just touched on something that I'm really feeling at the moment, and I am in that stage that you are in, where I'm feeling daily stressed because I'm overcommitting, because I feel bad. I want to invest in my friendships and my friends and my family, but also know that I need to invest in work. And it's a really, really, really hard one to do, because also friends need watering and time to build those friendships and to sustain them. And I want to be there for my friends, but also knowing that I can't always show up and I do need to focus on work.
Yeah.
It is really, really hard. How did you learn from I'm desperate to have an answer to this.
I think it's still like a process. I'm also a chronic people pleaser. So for me, the idea of letting down friends and family actually isn't a switch that I can turn off. You know, I can't just say, oh, you don't need to feel bad about that. I will feel awful. But I think it's maybe justifying the decision within yourself a little bit more. You know, like I know the best way I can serve my time on a Saturday is probably staying in so I can recover, so that when I am appearing for the business in the working week, I'm at a rested, fueled level. Also for me, I have to refuel on my own. Some people recharge being in social environments. That is not me. I leave every social environment going through every single conversation I've had in my head. So that's, I don't know. I think it's just reassessing. My partner's actually really helped with this, because he's definitely not a selfish person. I don't want that to come across badly, but he's always been perhaps self-serving. Like he will invest in the best use of his time for his own success.
Yeah.
And I don't view that as selfish in him. I think it's really, this is what I've learned through my therapy sessions. There's this really weird concept of the word self-centered, that being self-centered means you have no awareness of everyone around you and you're a really selfish, arrogant person. Actually being self-centered means having yourself and your values at the core of everything you do. That's not a negative. That's an incredibly powerful thing if you are self-centered, in that you appear in rooms and you're going to put yourself in the best position possible. Yeah. I just think reassessing how I view that word and the connotations with that word, and how I view other people. You know, I would never view a really successful woman who maybe prioritizes spending time with her family and running her business over seeing her friends as a selfish, self-centered person and a negative connotation. I would think she's doing the best, making the best choices with the values that are at her core to be the best version of herself.
Yeah, completely. And if you're not going to do that, who is for you? It's so true. It's so true. And I'm very wary of, when I do commit to something, then I've got to be very present in that, because I'm a lot better at this now. But I used to be very much like, I'm going to say yes to this because I feel like I have to, and then spend the whole time on my phone, stressing, worrying, trying to do two things at once, trying to be in two places at once. And actually I've ended up not satisfying either. I've not done very well at work because I'm not actually there. And I've not been very present with my friend because I'm on my phone. So it's like, actually, once I've committed to something, then you have to give it that your all. It's a really hard balance, but I do think guys are better at it, because I also think it's really funny. Guys are good at catching up with friends in groups. So they can go and see all their mates in one go. And they can go to the pub and see everyone, and it's like done. Whereas girls, we like our one-on-ones. We like our coffee and a walk with one person. So a guy can tick off his whole friendship group in 3 hours. Whereas I could tick off my whole friendship group in a week. And it's like, that's really challenging for a girl. You want to have that one-on-one. And I love the one-on-one time. I'm not saying I'd want to swap it. But it's quite interesting how girls are very thorough. They want to go through things. They want to get big debriefs. Guys are very surface level. I'm kind of like generalizing, but it's quite an interesting one.
I think so. Also, there's another one that I've been trying to practice recently, which might be helpful. It's from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but it's about disassociating almost yourself from yourself. So they do this exercise where you imagine you're sitting in the corner of the room watching yourself, and if you actually do it, you can imagine and watch yourself go about your daily life, but it's very much like disassociating yourself from, I guess, the choices you make and the decisions you're making. And I do find that quite an interesting or useful tool when I'm getting very kind of mentally absorbed by decisions or actions or commitments. Actually just having that separation, being like, okay, if I was looking down at Daisy right now and think, what does she need? Maybe it is an evening on the sofa. And if I'm disassociating from my feeling of letting someone down, it's a little bit easier to handle. Actually, looking at Daisy, that's what she needs tonight, and that's what she'll need to prioritise.
Yeah, definitely. I now also have got into looking at my calendar a bit better. So if someone says to me, when are you next free? Normally, I would go through, find the next available slot, literally the next block.
Yeah.
I'd be like, then.
Yeah.
Now I'm like color coding my calendar into like time for just me, like the podcast time, healthy habits, like really, really categorizing it, coloring it. So when I look at it, I can see when are the pink spots for Georgia. And if I've not got enough of those, putting them in and being like non-mover. Like, you can't now move this.
That. Yeah, really.
Because
I need to do that.
It's really, because otherwise I just book it all out. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, this is really not sustainable.
Yeah.
And then I look at my diary and I'm like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I have a plan. That's not going to work. That is stressful. And then I'm ending up running around like a headless chicken and nothing's really done. So yeah, looking at my calendar a bit better and putting in those non-movers is helpful.
Yeah.
So
it's just like reassessing that free time or a free evening as like an open slot to fill, when actually that could be, no, that is my free evening because that is a closed slot in my calendar.
Yeah, definitely. So we finish off every episode with a what is in your handbag. So please, can you share, gorgeous bag, what is in your bag?
I actually have some funny things in here, and I didn't even know this was going to be a question.
I know, these are quite fun.
That tells a lot. Obviously, phone, and fun fact, I've gone back to the cord.
Well done, we love that. The
what
EMF.
What are these called? Corded?
The wired.
Wired headphones. Because my mum was saying she's now got tinnitus, and they were saying it was from the airwaves going into the ears.
It's all the EMF. Yeah, it's
I actually
not good
love them as well.
Yeah,
don't have to charge them.
They're
Fantastic.
They're great. Everyone should be going back.
Obviously, laptop always
lovely. Yeah,
every day of the week, everywhere. What else is in here? This is quite funny. Here's some GG. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
GG. PMS and hormone balance comes with me everywhere. I've got big pouches as well, but that's a little travel size.
Love that.
This is funny. Well, this one is my Thrive. I'm on the Thrives.
Oh, nice.
Talking about balance and staying healthy. This actually should probably be in the fridge, but great. But I'm on that now for lunch and dinner, which I'm not saying is good, but I know I don't have the time to cook at the moment. And then I'm not going to be eating nutritiously because I'll grab a bagel for dinner or whatever. So actually, just pre-planning, committing something.
Easy. Perfect.
Ease. That's what I need at the moment.
It just removes one decision out of your head. Yeah. Which is helpful.
Oh, what else is in here? Card for the office.
Yes.
This is another little fun one. This is called Teffy. Another.
Yes, do you know Jessica. Do you know her?
Yeah, I met her at an event and
Fab.
She sent me some of these, and I always need a sweet treat at like 3:00. Great. And I don't feel guilty about having these.
They're great. Teffy really is fab.
Now this is funny. These are the Jason Derulo tickets. I don't know if you've seen on our socials. On TikTok, I went to this live charity auction, and I accidentally kind of ended up getting 24 tickets to Jason Derulo in a box, and it's become our entire personality on socials at the moment.
Obsessed. When is it?
It's not till January, but I'm bringing them in for content for the team today. essentially, I wasn't aware of the rule that when you're at a live auction, you've got to put your hand back down. So I'm there thinking I'm placing a bid for a certain number, and anyway, the number kept going up, and I wasn't.
Oh wow. Okay.
Big lesson there. Don't leave your hand up at a silent auction. Live auction, sorry.
That's so good.
And then always, this is a bit grubby, but I've got in here mascara. I've got a bit of power blush on the lips today.
Love it.
Also a little sneak peek of a glow for it.
The mirror, the compact mirror.
That's
Love
coming.
that. I've been seeing that.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. Okay, what is your favourite glow for it product?
Oh God. It will always be the lash serum because it's like just at the core. It's the OG. I think most underrated at the moment has to be the cleansing balm. I think it is very cost effective compared to the others on the market and the performance it gives. And the people who have tried it know it is really, really good.
I have tried it. It's great.
It is really good. No foggy eyes, no stinging. And it's just like a really nice ritual in the self-care routine in the evening, removing the makeup with the cleansing balm. I look forward to it every evening.
There's no better feeling than removing the makeup. No better feeling.
There we go.
That was a fab bag.
That was quite a good bag, actually. Really I didn't even know that, but then I was like, actually, there's a fair bit in here that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Daisy, I feel like we could literally keep chatting, but
I know.
You've got a busy day ahead, I'm sure. So thank you so much for coming and joining me in the kitchen. I have loved chatting with you.
I've had the best time. I've loved it.
It's been great, and congratulations on Glow for It. I think it's an amazing brand, and I'm so excited to see where you guys go next.
You too. I can't wait to put some mouth tape on tonight.
Give it a try. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed the episode. If you loved hearing Daisy's journey and story, we are joined by another inspiring story next week, where I am joined by the arthritis foodie who shares her journey of living with arthritis. This is going to be another amazing episode full of lots of tips and tricks and health advice. So if you want to make sure you don't miss that episode, make sure you click that follow and subscribe button wherever you're listening so you are alerted next Tuesday when that episode goes live. Thank you guys so much again, and see you next week.